Prelude. Bardock's crew gotten him back to planet Vegeta and into the recuperation chamber. They'd been in there for a few minutes, watching Bardock heal. Tora told them that they were planet meat on their own and were going to their pods. The scion named Fasha remembered that she'd saw Bardock's son on the way there. She suddenly wanted to see him reason. "Guys, I need to go do something important. You go to meet without me," Fasha said. "What's wrong, Fasha, not feeling up to a possible promotion?" Tora asked with mocking humor. "I just need to do something, Tora. Just go to meet unless you're not ready to get a promotion probably," Fasha said as she went to the baby room, leaving her friends to enter pods and blast off to planet meat. Fasha watched them go until they were out of sight and went inside to the baby room. She looked at the name on the bed. "Kakarot fitting in," she said, looking at the baby. Baby Kakarot was crying loudly, the cry of a scion wanting to fight, which made Fasha give a small smile. She could remember herself crying at that age, eager to have her fur Kakarot, then saw Fasha and strangely smiled, holding his hand out. Fasha felt the urge to touch the baby's hand, which she did. As they touched hands, Fasha suddenly got the feeling again. A voice in her head told her that something very bad was going to happen to her if she stayed on the planet. It also told her that Kakarot was going to grow up to great warrior. Possibly the strongest scion of all and maybe equal to King Vegeta's son. If that was true, she wasn't going to miss that. And if fate allowed it, she may become Kakarot and Prince Vegeta. And that hand touch she just did with Kakarot strangely made her grow fond of him. She then ran out of the room and went to the medical room. "I'm heading to my home to get some things. If Bardock is awake before I get back, tell him that the others went to meet," she said as she ran out of the station, got into her PA flew back to her home. When she got there, she started packing up a few things. Meanwhile with Bardock. He was still in the healing machine and was healing well. But suddenly he saw something. Vision. A planet was blowing up, indicating that someone had destroyed it. Next was of two space pods that had Fasha and his son inside it, flying to a planet named Earth, and Fasha built home for herself and Kakarot to live in. Fasha was raising Kakarot and training him. Even meeting a green-haired girl and going on some adventures with her. Kakarot was Biko great warrior under Fasha's training, even training herself as well under an old man and someone looking like an old alien. Kakarot was fighting an old alien resembling the Of and even fighting a younger version of the alien when he was grown up. But what interested Bardock the most was seeing his grown son and Fasha suddenly kiss before Kakarot the alien warrior. Vision end. The machine suddenly drained and the hatch opened. Bardock was in shock at what he saw but quickly brushed it off and put on his outfit and armor. "Where's Tora? I thought him and the others in here. You and your friends were supposed to go to planet meet by Frieza himself," the doctor said, doing what Fasha told him. "Frieza? So we're finally getting the recognition we deserve, and those bums went without me," Bardock said with an eager smile as he put on his scouter ran out of the room to his pod. On the way, he saw the planet being destroyed as he stopped at the baby room where his son was. "Kakarot, huh? You sure have some powerful lungs. You see it, too you?" he said as he checked his power level. Which was 100. Decent enough power. You may just be special, Bardock said as he ran out to his pod and took off to join his friend. In a few hours, he landed on the planet, seeing its inhabitants wiped out. "Looks like the guys busted right through this one." His scouter then beeped. "There they are, probable celebrating," he said. He flew to their location. But when he found them, they were laying on the ground, dead. "No. It can't be," Bardock said. "Bardock." The voice of Tora called out. Bardock ran to him and knelt down. "Tora, who did this to you? Was it the natives?" "No. Why, you know us better than that. It was Dodoria and his men. But Frieza was the one who ordered us here," Bardock said. "It was a setup. Frieza wants us all dead. He was worried about you becoming too strong," Tora said. "Where's Fasha?" She's not here, Bardock asked. She told us to come here without her. Said she had to do something important. I'm sure she's still on planet Vegeta, so she probably doesn't know about this. Good luck, old free. Sorry I couldn't dash, he said as his eyes closed permanently. Bardock sat him down gently and got the bandana from his arm, making the blood on his hand cover it. Bardock wiped Tora's face off and stood up. Frieza's taken our loyalty of us back in our own blood. Now he will pay, Bardock said as he put the bandana on his head. Suddenly, Bardock's scouter beeped and he looked to his right, seeing Frieza's men laughing. I thought I smelled something rotten in the air. Yeah, Bardock. We had a great time killing all your crew. Now you're next, one of Frieza's men said as they charged at him, with the Scion warrior charging as well. One of D men tried blasting Bardock, but thanks to his new power level, they didn't even scratch him. He flew up and had butted the one who fired down to the ground. One of the elites Bardock, but he grabbed him from behind and went inside the smoke. The red-skinned one thought he saw Bardock and blasted him, but it was really the elite with the hood on. He's good. That was an ingenious move, the amphibian-looking elite said. So what? He's just a low level. We're the elites. Now let's go, the red-skinned one said as they charged at Bardock. As Bardock charged at them, he had another vision of his son and Fasha doing an attack that was very different. Unfortunately, the vision distracted him enough for the amphib to headlock Bardock from behind, and the red alien with horns started punching him, unknowingly making him see more of what he saw in the healing chamber. Vision. Kakarot and Fasha were fighting an elite Scion who looked like the fully grown Prince Vegeta. You two are doing well for low-level soldiers, the prince said. Vision end. After the elite landed a few more blows on Bardock, he front-flipped, making the red-skinned one punch the amphibian elite right through his back, making his own blood come mouth and making him let go of Bardock. The Scion warrior flipped and fired an energy wave at them, blowing them both away. That was from my crew to you, Bardock said as he landed. There's no doubt that those were some of Frieza's elites, Bardock said. He then turned around and saw Dodoria H. the pink warrior fired a blast from the past his mouth, blasting the Scion warrior and breaking his already broken scouter and his armor, and also blasting the bodies of his free along with him. When it was finished, Dodoria got a message from Frieza to return to the ship, which he did. But unknown to him, Bardock was still alive. Meanwhile, in the pod room, we've got one to go here. Coordinates FX50. His name is Kakarot. What planet are we sending him to? Planet Earth. Let's move him out. Suddenly, Fasha came up behind them. Where's Kakarot going? She asked. What are you doing in here? None of your business. Now where are you sending Kakarot? Fasha demanded. Coordinates FX50, ma'am. A planet called Earth. Put this armor into his pod. But wait for me to tell you when to launch that pod. That's an order, Fasha ordered, handing the alien a set of armor that was like Bardock's but W shoulder guards, a black bodysuit, white gloves, and white boots with a yellow front. Yes, ma'am, the alien said as he went to the pod, put everything that Fasha handed him into it and closed the door. Fasha smiled and walked out to the landing area where her in-pod was. She got inside and set the same coordinates as Kakarot's pod. She pressed a button on her scouter. ALR, launch Kakarot's pod. Yes, ma'am. Launching Kakarot's pod now, the alien said as he launched the pod. Fasha closed her pod door and launched her pod as Kakarot's pod was flying by. The female pod caught up with Kakarot's and the two pods began their journey to Earth. Bardock was in his pod, flying to planet Vegeta as he passed Frieza's ship. It's him. He's going to Vegeta. I know he is. It's as clear as day. I can see inside his mind. He then has pods flying away from planet Vegeta, and as they flew right past Bardock's pod, Fasha knew that it must be Bardock and vice versa. Bardock, I'm so sorry for not being there for you and the others, Bardock, but fate has plans for me and your son. I promise you that I will do everything in my power to take Kakarot. If fate allows it, we'll see each other again. Goodbye, my friend. Fasha thought as a tear fell from her eye. Her and Kakarot's pods passed Bardock's and continued to Bardock landed on planet Vegeta and got out of his pod. Two soldiers came up to him. Bardock, you okay? One of the soldiers asked. Yes. I need to go. Move, Bardock said as he walked past the soldiers. Oh, by the way, you missed your son. He just left. The soldier told him. Just now? Yeah. But he's not alone though. Your friend Fasha went with him for some reason. Wouldn't say what it was though. She had us put some armor in his pod and ordered us not him go until she was ready to go with him. So I wasn't hallucinating. My son and Fasha, that planet. That means that the other part of the vision must be true as well. Planet Vegeta. Bardock thought as he ran inside. The wall for support, but he fell down the stairs because of his wounds and passed out, seeing the same visions. This is the future, Bardock. This is what you killed my people for. Fasha and my son. Yes, them. The one named Fasha's training your son into a powerful warrior while becoming one herself. Just like you were. As your son grows up, Fasha begins to develop wrong feelings for Kakarot, and when he is fully grown, they admit their feelings and become lovers and mates. What did you mean were? At this time, you are long since dead. You blow up with your planet. But take heart, Bardock. Two saviors have been born this day, saviors who have the power to protect the Yin from people like Frieza and you. Ha 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 ha. Bardock woke and got up. He headed to the kitchen area, knowing now that he wasn't crazy and he was really seeing the future. When he got to the kitchen area, he tried to W other Scions, but they just laughed at him, which made him mad and leave. While walking, he had another vision. In the vision, he was on a green planet without blue grass and trees. Bardock. A male voice called out. Bardock. A female voice called out. Who's there? I know you're there. Why are you calling me? Bardock asked. Bardock. Both voices called out. Bardock looked and saw two Scion warriors, one was Fasha and the other one was his son, all grown up. You know who I am, don't you, Bardock? Yes. You're my son. Bardock said, reaching out to them. Bardock, it's not too late to be different than Frieza. Fasha said. Father, it's never too late to change. Kakarot said as Frieza appeared in their place. Vision end. Bardock ran to the balcony and looked at the sky. It's him. He's coming. I've gotta stop him. Frieza, I'm coming for you, you murderous self-serving traitor. It's over. He said. Flew off the balcony and headed to Frieza's ship. He flew all the way off of planet Vegeta, and as he got closer to Frieza's ship, hundreds of his soldiers came out to stop him. Bar passed them, knocking many of them back and blasting some away with his key attacks. Some of Frieza's men grabbed and held him as he got a few feet away from the top of the Frieza. Come out and fight me. The top of the ship opened up and Frieza came out in his hover chair. His soldiers let go of Bardock and yelled at the same time. Long live Lord Frieza. But Bardock smiled as he chuckled. No way, Frieza. You've lived long enough. Actually, it's been too long for my tastes. Frieza, listen up. We quit, all of us. Got it? We don't war anymore. We're free. You can find someone else to do your dirty work. Oh yeah, there's one last thing. Bardock said as he prepared a key blast. This is for my friends and people we killed in your name. I wish we were never foolish enough to obey you. Here, have it. He yelled as he threw his attack at the murderous tyrant. Unfortunately, Frieza charged up his supernova attack, making it absorb Bardock's blast. No way. Bardock said in disbelief. As the giant ball of energy got closer. It vaporized men and engulfed Bardock. As Bardock was about to die, he saw his last vision. It was Kakarot and Fasha, sending in the green planet, about to face Frisia together. Bardock G last proud smile, happy with the knowledge that his friend and son would defeat Frisia and avenge the Scion race in him. Kakarot. Fasha, he said as he was consumed by ball of energy. The supernova went into planet Vegeta, making it begin to blow up, along with almost every single Scion warrior on it, much to Frisia, Dodoria, and Zarbon's GR delight. In a matter of seconds, planet Vegeta was destroyed forever. Fasha felt it in her heart and so did Kakarot, who began crying loudly. Fasha let tears fall from her eyes as she mourned the loss of her home planet. Her entire race, and all of H's friends, especially Bardock. After some time, the pods landed in some kind of woods. Fasha got out of her pod and looked around. So this is Earth. Looks like a beautiful planet. She went to Kakarot's pod and opened it. Baby Kakarot was crying loudly and Fasha looked at him with sadness, something she thought she would never feel. She picked the baby up and when Kakarot saw her, he smiled, making her smile as well. She held the infant close to her and looked at the sun. This is the beginning of our new life, Kakarot. I promise you in your father's name that I will be here for you, no matter what challenges we'll face together. And one day, we'll avenge him and our race by defeating Frisia together. Fasha said with a determined smile. King Piccolo Saga Part 1. It had been 12 years since Kakarot and Fasha had landed on Earth. Fasha was taking care of the young Scion warrior as Bardock would have wanted. An Earthling named Goha found their pods when they landed and had offered to take them in. Fasha knew that she and Kakarot had to stay hidden in order to avoid being discovered by Frisia, and his Fasha had accepted the offer and let the old human take them in. She'd also told him about what they really were and about their race. While Gohan was shocked at first, Fasha assured him that she was not going to kill off the Earthlings because that life ended for Fasha when she chose to leave Vegeta and come to Earth, and also because of Frisia. First few months, Fasha had grown to like Gohan, even letting him take care of Kakarot when she went out for food. One day, Kakarot nearly fell from a high cliff, but Fasha was catch Kakarot. But 3 years after that, during a full moon night, Kakarot had his first transformation into a great ape. Unfortunately, he'd crushed Gohan to death and was only when Fasha destroyed the moon. She'd buried Gohan the day after and had vowed to never let this happen again. So when Kakarot was old enough, Fasha told him about Plain and the Scions, her friends and Kakarot's father and mother, and even Frisia. Fasha had been fortunate enough to have the documents to train herself and Kakarot to evolve past the ridiculous weakness of getting their tails grabbed and to learn how to know control of themselves when they did transform. She already knew how to make an artificial moon just in case this would happen. She'd had the documents with her in her old age Vegeta and had made sure to bring them when she and Kakarot left their home planet. It took them 9 years, but they eventually managed to finally master their great ape form point where it no longer hurt when their tails were grabbed and they could speak in their ape forms. After that training was complete, they'd moved on to real training. One day, a girl named Bulma came to their house, looking for what she called a Dragon Ball. When she found it, Fasha and Kakarot were curious to why the teenage girl wanted. After some persuasion, Bulma had told them everything about the 7 magic Dragon Balls. If gathered together, the eternal dragon Shenron would appear to grant any one wish desired, and that she already had 2 of them, adding the one she found to 3, only 4 more needed to be found in the order to summon Shenron and get a wish. Fasha had accused of lying, but she had insisted that the legend was true. If it was, Fasha and Kakarot could bring planet Vegeta and the Scion race back, including her friends, Bardock and Jine. After thinking it over and seeing that Bulma had a device that would lead them right to the other 4 Dragon Balls, they had agreed to travel with Bulma, but she warned them the people would be after them for the Dragon Balls. Fasha and Kakarot had told Bulma about what they were and that no weapons on this planet could harm them. Bulma thought could be useful to her. After that, their quest for the Dragon Balls had begun. During the quest, they had encountered Mai and Shu, who Kakarot rescued. After that, they encountered Master Roshi after helping his sea turtle. In gratitude, he had given the Star Dragon Ball. They'd found the 6-star Dragon Ball in a remote village, and an old woman had agreed to give it to them if they defeated a shape-shifting pig named Oolong, who Kakarot easily with one chop to the neck. The old woman thanked them and gave them the Dragon Ball. After that, they had walked through a desert and encountered a bandit named Yamcha and his shape-shifting cat Puar, who Kakarot easily defeated. Yamcha ran off after seeing in Bulma because he had gotten nervous around girls. The night after, Bulma used her portable house for a place to stay for the night. While there, Fasha told Bulma all about them, which shocked Bulma at first, but when Fasha told that she was done with her old life and why she wanted to use the Dragon Balls, she accepted the Saiyan warriors. While they were all asleep, Yamcha and Puar tried to steal TH balls, but when Yamcha thought he found the Dragon Balls, which were really Bulma's breasts, he retreated with Puar, but also because of Fasha, who had woken up and spotted bandits. Their journey had led them to Fire Mountain and they encountered the Ox King, who had told them that he'd sent his daughter Chi-Chi to borrow the Bansho fan from Master Ro. Ox King agreed to give them the 7-star Dragon Ball. Fasha and Kakarot had found Chi-Chi and had found Rashi's island thanks to their scouters. Unfortunately, the old man had juice on it and threw it out. Rashi had agreed to put the fire out himself and used his signature technique, the Kamehameha wave to out the flames out, but ended up death the castle. They managed to get the Dragon Ball and the Saiyan warriors were curious about the technique that Rashi had used, asking if they could learn it. Rashi told them the him 50 years to master, but Fasha and Kakarot had successfully performed the technique on the first try, which shocked and surprised Rashi. A few days later, they came upon a city that was being terrorized by a giant rabbit and his 2 minions, which Fasha easily dealt with by beating them and making the thugs make the children there, which made them very happy. Fasha was beginning to like being a hero instead of a space pirate. Yamcha and Puar saw this and were beginning to reconcile, continuing to follow them for the Dragon Balls until Kakarot found them and forced them to go with them so they could keep an eye on the bandits. Their journey for the final Dragon Ball brought them to a castle in the middle of nowhere after being attacked by Shu and a battle robot, who claimed to a servant to someone. Now the gang forced the dog to lead them there, thinking he might have the last Dragon Ball. When they got to Pilaf's castle, it turned out that he did have the last Dragon Ball, which I easily took. After that, the Earthlings got the buffoons out safely while the 2 Saiyan warriors turned into great apes and destroyed the castle together. Fasha and Kakarot had to about their transformation and quickly rushed out with the Dragon Balls. After their work was done, Fasha and Kakarot destroyed their artificial moon and changed back into their normal forms, but didn't pass out due to having completely mastering great ape forms. Pilaf and his servants were allowed to go because Fasha and found them pathetic. After that, Fasha and Kakarot gathered the Dragon Balls and summoned Shi. Fasha tried to wish for planet Vegeta and the entire Saiyan race to be brought back to life, but the dragon told them that it couldn't be done because planet Vegeta and the Sai had been dead for more than a year and couldn't be brought back, much to Fasha and Kakarot's sadness. They'd hoped to show their race a new path that didn't involve killing Inuk people and eventually they could band together to kill Frieza. The others felt very sorry for the Saiyans and gave them their sympathies. Fasha had decided to let the Earthlings whatever they wanted since she couldn't have her wish. Bulma had surprisingly wished for the moon to be restored, which surprised Kakarot and Fasha. Bulma had told them a favor to friends. After that adventure was over, Kakarot and Fasha had built a home close to West City because it was where Bulma lived. They had also asked Bulma to give their pods the Shrek into a capsule, which she did. Over the next few months, Fasha and Kakarot had trained together, mastering the Kamehameha wave from Rashi by their own form of Khan. They had also met new people along the way, like Krillin and even Bulma's parents, who were very fond of the Saiyans. Fortunately, Earth technology had not advanced enough travel, which relieved the Saiyans. They had also become involved in a martial arts tournament, with Fasha winning the tournament by beating someone named Jackie Chun, really Master Rishi in disguise, which Fasha and Kakarot figured out easily. They had also met a fortune teller named Baba, had offered to tell their fortune, but they declined because they had a feeling that they already knew what their future held. Due time, they'd also met a girl named Launch, who could turn from innocent to gun-happy with just a sneeze, and a talking cat named Corinne, who told them about the senza beans could heal any wound and restore energy. Fasha had asked Corinne to teach her how to grow them, which he eventually did. They also encountered mercenary Tao, who was part Red Ribbon Army, and who Fasha had seemingly killed. After that, Kakarot and Fasha went after the Red Ribbon Army and destroyed them all because they were after the Drago, even encountering Pilaf and his servants again, who ran away after the army was defeated, but not before being warned to never underestimate the power of the Saiyans. 3 years later, the next tournament was being held. Fasha decided not be in the tournament and let Kakarot have a turn at being the champion of the world. They had met Shin was a fellow student of Rashi's and his top students, Tien, Shinhan and Kaiatsu. After the other matches had been held, with Tien breaking Yamcha's leg. Eventually, it was Tien Kakarot. The fight seemed to be even, but Tien found out that Kaiatsu was using his powers to paralyze the young scion. Tien forced his friend to stop. When she ordered Chi won the match, much to Fasha's joy. Tien thanked Kakarot for giving him a good fight and apologized for breaking Yamcha's leg, which they accepted. Kakarot bought Din everyone but forget the 4-star Dragon Ball, which Krillin went to get. But he'd been gone too long. Suddenly, Kakarot and Fasha had gotten a bad feeling and ran to where Krillin, but when they found him, they were very shocked to find that he was lying dead on the floor. Fasha and Kakarot knelt down and checked Krillin's pulse, which there wasn't. No. Krillin. This can't be. Not him. He didn't deserve this. Kakarot said in despair. Fasha saw the announcer waking up and helped him off the floor. Who did this? Fasha asked. It was a monster. A hideous monster. Krillin fought it with everything he had, but the monster was just too strong. It killed him and took the orange ball and a list of the Martial Society. He told them as the others came and saw Krillin's body, shocking them. I'm going after the one who did this. He's going to die for what he's done to my friend. Kakarot said. No, Kakarot. After that match against Tien and having no food, you won't be ready to face whoever did this. Fasha told the young scion. Guys, I found this piece of paper on the ground. The symbol on it reads devil and it's circled. Bulma said, looking at the symbol. Hearing this shocked Rashi so much that he dropped his walking stick. Let me see. He said, taking the paper and looking at the symbol. No. It's impossible. It can't be true, shocked to the core. Master, what does that mean? Yamcha asked. This is the crest of King Piccolo. Rashi said. Piccolo? So somebody actually admits to having that name? Launch asked. I've heard that name. It's a legendary creature who is said to have plunged the world into despair ages ago. Tien said as he picked up Krillin's body. Who is this Piccolo? If you know something about him. Old man, tell us. Fasha said, curious about this King Piccolo. What Tien just said is true. His name may sound funny, but I assure you that there's nothing humorous about that savage beast. With him came darkness and chaos. His Minio terror wreaked havoc upon the land, attacking with indiscriminate fury. No one knew what they were or why they had come, but they were here, laughing as they spread to true death. Piccolo and his minions destroyed one city after another, except for one temple. It was in that secluded place the demons faced a determined school of martial artists. Ma demons and a few good men fell that day. When the battle was over, myself and Crane Hermit were the only ones left standing. We defeated the rest of them with their own ATT. King Piccolo himself came soon after. He was so strong that Crane and I were helpless against his might, even Mutato was no match for him. Who's Mutato? Bulma asked. He was my master. He tried to fight Piccolo, but he easily defeated my master. Thanks to a strong immune system and my bedside manner, my master made a full recovery. The shame of losing in front of his students and the loss of the ones he couldn't protect was more than he could bear, so he left, hoping time could heal what his heart could not. Ro explained. It's hard for me to picture you and Shen as friends. What you went through, I had no idea. Yamcha said. Whether it was by the defeat of our master or evil itself, I don't know. But when that happened, something snapped in Shin that day, and my friend was gone. Rashi said with sadness. So how did you defeat Piccolo, Rashi? Kakarot asked. I didn't. Piccolo continued his rampage. Unable to stop him, I fled into the mountains and continued my training as best I could. But as the years passed, I was beginning to lose, but one day, that hope returned. Master Mutato had spent the years training to improve his abilities and searched for a way to defeat King Piccolo, which he found: the evil Con Wave. The containment wave trapped King Piccolo in the electronic jar was designed for containing evil. We successfully trapped Piccolo, but Mutato had used the last of his E seal him up. And so, he died. As for Piccolo, I honored my master's last wish and threw the jar into the sea. What if Crane found the jar and opened it again? Kaya Atsu asked. No. Shun, more than anyone, understands the risks of releasing King Piccolo. Rashi assured him. That note with the symbol indicates that it must be one of Piccolo's minions. Yamcha said. Maybe. I understand why he took the Dragon Ball, but why steal a list of people from the Martial Arts Society? Rashi wondered. Because of the evil containment wave. Think about it, martial artists are the only ones who can use the technique. Piccolo knows that, and he must know who they are if he will guard against the evil containment wave. Fasha said. That's right. That's definitely something I would do if I was Piccolo. But what do these Dragon Balls have to do with anything? Tien asked, having never heard of the dragon. We'll tell you later, Tien. Right now, we need to get to Master Roshi's island and figure out what to do about Piccolo. Kakarot said. Meanwhile, in an aircraft owned by Pilaf. 7 for 1 wish. I like the sound of that. The now released and old King Piccolo said, sitting on his throne next to his minion, Piano. It is marvelous. Born leaders like us need only 1 wish to rule the world. Pilaf said, having recently released the old demon. King Piccolo chuckled. I don't need magic balls to rule this world. It has fallen at my feet once already. Then what do you want? Shu asked. The greatest prize of all, eternal youth. Just think, with eternal youth I could master time itself. Why would I want to rule this planet for a lifetime, when I could rule it for all time? King Piccolo said, knowing that with his youth forever restored, he could rule the earth for all eternity. Yes, I agree. By the way, if you recall, it was I who plucked you from the cold sea and freed you from that jar. Did you get those grapes I sent you? I even briefed you on the Dr. Ball, remember? Get to the point, Pilaf. Piccolo told him. They backed away nervously. I know you have a busy schedule, but Lord Piccolo, when the world does fall under your control, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind if I keep a say it? Piccolo just stared at them. Actually, 25% would do. I'm horrible with fractions. Anything. A country you don't want. I know of some swampland. I'll think about it. Where is Tambourine? I went to a control panel and brought out an Earth Raider. Sensors show he's heading this way. She said. Wait till you see a Dragon Ball up close. They're so nice and shiny. But what I don't understand is why you need a list of people from the Martial Arts Society? I'm telling you, people are dull. Pilaf said. King Piccolo grunted. Martial artists. It was one of their ilk that sealed me that cursed jar with some trick. The old demon thought as he used his energy to destroy the jar, would be ruler and his servants cower in fear. The world's strongest fighters are on that list. They will all be destroyed. All of them. And no fighters here. Pilaf fearfully said. King Piccolo Saga Part 2. I didn't think I could hate someone I've never met before, but King Piccolo is an animal. Once I'm finished with him, he'll wish he'd stayed in that jar. Yamcha said. Are you crazy? That monster is more powerful than you. You're just gonna get yourself killed. Bulma said. That list has my name on it, Bulma. And I'm not just gonna sit around and wait for him to find me. Yamcha countered. King Piccolo's ambition does not allow for bystanders. Should he get dominion over our world, all will be lost. There will be no haven. What King Piccolo doesn't kill, his legions be genocide. Rashi said. Seems the evil containment wave your master used worked pretty well the first time around. Why not use it now? Tien asked. Master Mutato died before he could teach it to me. Rashi said. There will be no sealing Piccolo away this time, Rashi. This time, he will die. Fasha said. Yeah. This Piccolo sounds a lot like Frieza. This'll be the perfect test for when we kill him one day. Kakarot said. Excuse me, but I think this is a matter for the police. The announcer said. Under normal circumstances, but Piccolo is far stronger than the cops. It has to be me and Kakarot. We can take this monster. Fasha said, determined not to lose anyone else. I understand. If anyone can save us, no doubt it's you guys. The announcer said, knowing that they could save them after seeing what they can do many times. Launch walked up to Krillin's covered body and picked it up as her eyes were beginning to water. I took it for granted that he'd always be here. She said with sadness. Don't worry, Launch, we'll kill Piccolo for this and wish him back with the Dragon Balls. Kakarot said as he put a hand on her leg. Thanks, Kakarot. I hope Piccolo dies painfully. Launch said. Come, Kakarot. Let's get us a meal and we'll go after Piccolo and his minions. You guys do whatever you can to get the rest of the Dragon Balls. Fasha told Kakarot, who flew to their home. I hope they know what they're doing. I know they're natural-born warriors, but sometimes I worry about them. Rashi said as he watched the scions fly away. Master, Kaiotsu and I have talked it over and we'd like to come with you, if that's alright. Tien requested. Of course you can, Tien. Your skills will be needed. Rashi said. Meanwhile on Pilaf's airship. Tambourine had gotten to the airship and had handed Piccolo the 4-star Dragon Ball. Tiny. Are you sure this is a Dragon Ball? Yes. It was exactly where they said it would be. Tambourine answered, looking at Pilaf and his servants. See? Don't I offer invaluable information? You've done well, Pilaf. Once I have all 7 of these Trickens, eternal youth will be mine. My full power will be restored and I will once again be invincible. Piccolo said, Lucky Dragon Ball. Right. And your looks will improve as well. Pilaf said as he nervously laughed, making Piccolo look at them. Which will be hard to imagine, considering how good you look now, model of beauty. Mai said with a nervous laugh. There's more. Here is a list of the participants of the World Tournament. By all accounts, it should contain records of every fighter over the past 10 years. Tambourine said, show list. Post them on the wall. Piccolo ordered, making them do just that. While Tambourine was posting the papers, he saw Krillin's picture. I don't believe it. He's one of their great fighters. He said with a laugh. You know this one? Piccolo asked. Yes. But you won't be needing his picture any longer. I killed him during the mission. Tambourine said as he threw the picture away. Emperor, I think you better take a look at these pictures. Mai said as she gave Pilaf the pictures of Kakarot and Fasha. No wonder these two were so difficult to defeat. The woman won first place in the 21st tournament, and the boy won first place in the last tournament. Pilaf said. Who are they? Piccolo asked. Well, the woman's name is Fasha, and the boy's name is Kakarot. They said there's something called scions. Pilaf said. Scions? What are those? Tambourine asked. I don't know. They never told me what a scion is. I just assumed that they're from somewhere far away. But they have monkey-like tails that they sometimes wear like a belt, answered. Whatever they are, they won't pose a threat to us, Lord Piccolo. Tambourine said. Maybe. Or they could be the same cunning warriors that drove back my forces and locked me in a jar for decades. We have to be absolutely sure. Hunt all of them down in a sea to oblivion, but save these scions for last. Piccolo said, interested in the scion warriors. As you wish. And once you've completed that mission, find the rest of the Dragon Balls. I'll take over the world from there. Piccolo said with an evil laugh. Later at King Chappa's school. King Chappa was training with 4 of his students, who he easily defeated. "That's enough for today. Train me," the voice of Tambourine said as he stood in one of the windows. "I'm here for my lesson." "Who are you?" "King Chappa, is it true that you were once the champion of the world tournament?" Tambourine asked. "Yes." "What do you want of me?" "Die," the demon said as he jumped at King Chappa and kicked him to the floor. King Chappa got up and began 8-arm punches at Tambourine, but he dodged every punch. T then countered with 100-arm punches at King Chappa, hitting him with each one before delivering a hard punch and sending him into the wall, killing him. Much to his students, Tambourine turned to leave, but King Chappa's students blocked his way. "If you insist," he said. A few minutes later, he flew away laughing evilly, having killed all of them. He then went to a kickboxing championship, where the reigning champion had won his 20th match. Tambourine easily killed him with one kick in front of the crowd, shocking them and leaving soon after. The next day on Pilaf's airship, Mai brought the soda that Piccolo wanted and sat it down in front of him. "I brought your melon soda, oh great one," she said. King Piccolo eyed his drink with delight, leaned forward and began to suck the soda into his mouth until it was gone, making the would-be ruler and his servants look nervous. "The matter at hand, Piccolo," Piano said. "There's still the matter of getting the rest of the Dragon Balls. I have no choice but to make another warrior," Piccolo said. Pilaf, Mai, and Shu looked disgusted. "He's not gonna do that weird thing again, is he?" "Afraid so. There goes my lunch," Pilaf said, having puked the last time he saw what the demon did. "Piccolo, you know that when you lay eggs, it speeds up your aging process. At the rate you're going, you'll die before you take over the world," Piano told his master. "Once I obtain all 7 Dragon Balls, aging won't be a problem. When I've made my wish, I will be eternally young. Now to create my new warrior. His sole purpose must be the Dragon Balls," Piccolo said as his eyes glowed and he held onto his throne. "Rise in form to serve your master." He repeated the phrase 7 more times before he sounded like choking. Suddenly an egg began coming up his throat and slowly came out of his mouth, making Mai almost puke. Piccolo spat the egg out and panted. "Congratulations. So, does it have a name?" Piano asked. "His name is Symbol. My child of darkness," Piccolo said as the egg began to hatch. A dark green dragon-like creature bursted through the shell and stood up. "Who do you serve, child?" "I serve my master. I serve Piccolo," the newly hatched Symbol answered. "Pilaf, now would be a good time to point out the nearest Dragon Ball." "Right," he said, looking at the Earth sensor and seeing a Dragon Ball close to where the airship was. "There. That's the closest one. Would you like us to take Symbol alone?" "Alone," Symbol said. "Okay, I guess you know best," Pilaf said. The bottom hatch opened up and Symbol flew to where the Dragon Ball was. Meanwhile at Master Roshi's island. "Dragon Balls, huh?" Kaya Atsu asked. "So if you gather all 7 foot, almost any wish you make comes true?" Tien asked. "Yes. If we hurry and get the rest of them and get the one Piccolo has, we can bring Krillin back to life. But we have to do it before 1 year passes or he can't be brought back to," Bulma said. "How do you know that?" Tien asked. "Because Fasha and Kakarot tried once. They wanted to bring their home planet and their race back to show them a better path, but the dragon told them that it couldn't be due because planet Vegeta and the rest of the Scions had been dead for more than a year," Yamcha said with sadness. "What's worse is that Fasha want to bring back a Scion named Bardock, who was Kakarot's father and her best friend. She wanted Kakarot to meet his father since he was only when they came to Earth," Bulma said. "Poor Fasha and Kakarot. I can't imagine the pain they carry in their hearts. To possibly be the last of their kind is a burden that they'll have to live with for the rest of their lives," said with sadness. I know they're warriors bred for battle, but if Piccolo kills them, the Saiyan warrior race will be extinct. Kaiotsu said. No way I'm going to let that happen. Fasha has saw the light and is teaching Kakarot to see the light. Besides, I want a rematch with Kakarot one day. Tien said. Suddenly, TH reported that 3 martial artists had been killed and were left with the mark of King Piccolo. Master, we have to warn the other martial artists out there. Yamcha said. It wouldn't do any good without the list. Some of them use aliases. But we must leave now. King Piccolo's minion will surely come after us. Rashi said, making the others nod agreement. After shrinking the house to a capsule, they took off in their aircraft. With Fasha and Kakarot. The Saiyans were heading out to find King Piccolo and his minions. Kakarot smelled something in the air. Fasha, do you smell that? Yeah. It smells like fried fish. That could be a good breakfast for us. Let's go. Fasha said as they landed on the ground and saw a fish cooking over a fire. Fasha put out the fire, broke off a piece. She then tasted it and licked her lips. Very tasty. Let's eat, Kakarot. We'll need this for when we fight Piccolo and his minions. Yeah. Let's eat. Kakarot said. They feasted on the fish until only the head and tail were left. That was really good, but still this must have been made by someone. Well, too bad for whoever made it, 'cause it's all gone now. Fasha said as she ate her last piece. Suddenly, they heard someone coming and got a few feet in the air until some orange give come out. My fish. Someone ate my fish. The man named Yajirobe said, seeing that his food had been eaten. And who are you? Fasha asked as she landed while Kakarot. My name's Yajirobe, and you two ate my dinner. He said, getting out his sword. Don't bother trying to fight us, Yajirobe. You shouldn't have left it out for anyone wandering around to find it. Kakarot said. And seems you have something that we need. Fasha said, noticing the Dragon Ball on the mountain man's neck. Give it to us. Why should I? Because that ball you have is extremely important to us. Now give it here. Kakarot said as he got the Dragon Ball from him with surprising speed. Hey, H, how did you do that? Yajirobe asked. None of your business, Yajirobe, but we'll make sure you get some food. And I have a feeling that it'll appear soon. Just wait for a few minutes. Fasha said. Meanwhile, with the Earthlings, they had found another island far away from the smaller one and landed. You kids should be safe on this island. But that doesn't mean you drop your guard. Rashi said. That's really comforting, Rashi, but we can't hide forever. If we don't get the Dragon Balls before King Piccolo, none of us will be safe. Bulma said. My darn leg. If it wasn't busted up, I could go with you guys. Yamcha said. You just stay here and get some rest. It's better this way. If anything happens to us, you'll be the only one left. Rashi told him. Promise me that you'll come back. Yamcha said, not wanting to lose his friends. That's enough of that. Don't talk like you're not coming home. If one of you dies, I'll fill you with so many bullets, you jump back to life just to beg me for mercy. Launch said, Tien and Kaiotsu blush. Master Rashi and Kaiotsu got in the aircraft and Tien took off. Bulma uncapsuled Rashi's house and they went inside. Bulma prepared a freezing capsule for Krillin's body, put H and capsuled it. Back with the Saiyans and Yajirobe. How much longer do I have to wait for my food? Yajirobe asked. Look up. Here comes your food now. Kakarot said, pointing in the direction of the flying creature heading straight for them. Symbol landed and looked at them. How long you live depends on your answer to my question. Would you happen to have an orange ball with stars on it? You mean this? Fasha said, holding up the Dragon Ball. Yes. Give it to me and I'll let you live. Symbol said. By the way you look, you must be one of King Piccolo's minions. Are you the one who killed Krillin? Kakarot asked. No. That was my brother, Tambourine. But unfortunately for you, you won't live long enough to see him. Symbol said. Yajirobe. You wanted food, you got it. He's our payment for your fish. Fasha said as she sat down with Kakarot. Alright, whoever you two are. Yajirobe said as he quickly ran to the dragon-like creature and sliced Symbol in half, making his upper half split from his bottom half and killing him. Yajirobe prepared another fire, prepared Symbol's body and cooked him. After he was done, Yajirobe ate him surprisingly quickly. Now that you've eaten our payment, get out of here. Fasha said as she grabbed Yajirobe and threw him far away. With King Piccolo. The old demon suddenly woke up from his sleep and looked like he was going to be sick. Piccolo, what's wrong? Are you ill? Piano asked. Symbol has failed me. Piccolo said, having felt his spawn's death through the telepathic link he has with all of his children. He tried contacting him telepathically but received no response from him. It's over. Symbol is no more. He's dead. I sympathize with your loss. Pilaf said. He seemed like such a nice beast. Mai said. King Piccolo growled at them. Silence, you fools. How could your feeble brains understand my loss? He was of my flesh and blood. I watched him hatch and spit his first slime. Pilaf and his servants cowered. Yes, I couldn't begin to understand. Yeah. Symbol means nothing to us. Mai said, making Piccolo growl even loudly. Meanwhile, in a village of evolved animals. The villagers were enjoying a nice peaceful day when a dragon fighter named Jiren stole a fish from a bear family. He went to them and was about to attack when his tail was by Tambourine. Are you Jiren? Yes. Then you die. Tambourine said as he gathered his energy and put his hand through the fighter, killing him instantly. I hope my next victim is way more amusing than this, Ren said. The bear family came up to him, not knowing what he really was. Thank you, sir, you saved us from him. The father said. Tambourine smiled evilly and sliced through him with his hand, killing him. He looked at the child. Jiren was a job. Your dad, I killed for fun. He said as he flew away to find his victim, which was Yamcha. Meanwhile, with Tien, Kaiotsu and Rashi. So, we'll be fighting King Piccolo and his minions for control of the Dragon Balls, is that it? Tien asked. Yes. Rashi said. And his possession of the 4-star Dragon Ball puts him in the lead. What we need is a plan to knock him off his guard and get the ball back. Rashi said. I'd love to knock him off his guard. Tien said eagerly. Careful, Tien. I understand how you feel, but King Piccolo is not an easy adversary. Normal tactics won't work on him. We must work together. Rashi said. Master, the Dragon Raider is blinking. Kaiotsu said, looking at the Raider showing a Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball is south of here. Tien, change course. Yes, Master. Tien said, flying in the direction of the Dragon Ball. Meanwhile, on Pilaf's airship, Piccolo looked at the Earth sensor and saw the Dragon Ball. There's the Dragon Ball my symbol was after before he died. That means the one who has it is responsible for his destruction. I want them to pay dearly for this insult. Your Majesty, while it is true that his whereabouts are unknown, it's impossible that he was defeated from anyone in this world. Here we are invisible. Piano said. Unless it was the Scions who killed him. They're the most likely ones that did it since they're far stronger than any fighter I've encountered. Pilaf said. They are unnaturally strong. Possibly alien strong. Mai said. If that's true, those Scions are going to suffer. King Piccolo said, vowing revenge. Meanwhile, with Tambourine, the demon spawn flew to the island that Rashi's house had moved to. This is strange. I must be lost, he said as he saw the house and landed. Knock knock. I'm lost. I'm Sea Island that is identified as NB18250012. Oh. You're gonna have to travel south across the sea. Yamcha told him, not know what a coincidence, that's where we lived before we moved out here. Bulma said. Is that so? Tambourine asked before he recognized the one standing in front of him. Wait, you're Yamcha. Yamcha and the others had a look of fear as they now knew exactly who the creature was now. It's him, isn't it? So you're King Piccolo's minion, huh? Yamcha asked as he got into a battle stance. Yes. Monster. You're the one who killed Krillin, aren't you? If that was his name. You're my next victim. Tambourine said, getting into a battle stance as well. The warriors charged at each other. Tambourine blocked a few punches and 2 roundhouse kicks before Yamcha blocked a few punches and countered with his injured leg, which Tambourine punched, making Yamcha jump back. Tambourine rushed at the injured warrior as Launch shot him with her machine gun, but the bullets bounced off him. Tambourine charged at Yamcha again with his charged hand until a voice stopped him. Tambourine. Tambourine. The voice of King Piccolo called. We'll finish this later. Tambourine said as he flew into the air. Master, everything is going as planned. I have tracked down and destroyed 7 fighters already. I'm working on 8th. That's good news. I wish I had the same, but unfortunately we have a problem. Symbol was sent to collect a Dragon Ball, but unfortunately he was destroyed. Destroyed? Yes. Pilaf thinks that it was the If Fasha and Kakarot who did it. Our response to this crime must be severe. You are to abandon your current assignment and find those Scions. I want an example of them. Kill them slowly. Piccolo told him. I will. Tambourine said, wanting revenge for his brother. Proceed to coordinates WSC 2933. Piccolo ordered. Yes. I will not rest until these Scions are brought to justice. He telepathically said before addressing Yamcha. It's your lucky day. Enjoy it while it lasts because I will return him before flying away, making the other relieved. Meanwhile in an ice area. It's right here. The Dragon Ball must have found a home under that iceberg when it fell 3 years ago. Rashi said, looking at the Dragon Raider. Allow me, Master. Tien said as he prepared his tri-beam technique. After a few seconds, the beam fired and engulfed the iceberg before shattering it. Where's the Dragon Ball? Rashi asked before he saw the shine of said object. Kaiatsu went to it and picked it up. Looks like we're tied. Tien said. They found the next Dragon Ball in the hands of a pirate. They tried negotiating, but failed. After the pirates tried shooting them, Kaiatsu used telekinetic powers to stop the bullets. The captain tried shooting them, but Tien grabbed his gun while the pirates were shooting, making the captain surrender the Dragon Ball T. Their next destination was at an old western-like town. They walked to an old house and Tien went to get the Dragon Ball. When he knocked, a woman answered. Hi, I'm looking, he started to say before he saw someone familiar, making him look in shock. It was a man who Tien had encountered before. It's you. The man said. So, what is it you've come for? Small world. Tien said. It is, as bad luck would have it. I thought I could forget your face, but I'm reminded of you every time I move. The man said. Flashback. Tien and the man were fighting in a match. The man was getting tired, but Tien kept fighting. The referee tried to stop Tien, but he just pushed him out of the way and kicked T down. When he was on the floor, Tien smashed his elbow into the man's armored knee, breaking it permanently. Flashback end. I had to be rushed to the hospital. I don't remember much, except the pain of 13 broken bones. It took me 2 years to get back to this house and my beautiful wife. The man is rightfully angry. I'm very sorry about your injuries. I was a different person back then. Tien said. So was I. I could walk without using a cane. The reason I've come is because I need your Dragon Ball. What the hell is that? A orange ball with a star mark. We know it's here somewhere. Will you give it to us? No. Now go. The man said. Unacceptable. Tien said. I don't know of what you speak. What's more, I think you're lying. Even if it did exist, help is the last thing I'd give you. The man said. Refusing to help the one who ruined his I must have it. Get back. The man said, getting a gun hanging from the wall and pointing it at Tien. Suddenly, the local police bursted through the door and surrounded Tien. Tien Shinhan, you're under arrest for murder. The leader said, showing a warrant for Tien's arrest. Unlike the police, it didn't take us long to identify the killer, Tien Shinhan. Who else would delight in killing martial artists? That's a lie. Tien said. You'd kill anyone if it suited your needs. It wasn't me. The killer I King Piccolo he tried to say, but the chief cut him off. You can tell your story down at the station. He said. Another policeman tried to grab Tien, but he shoved him off. Tien then got into a battle stance. Stop it. Rashi said as he walked inside. The chief recognized him as another policeman pointed his gun at him. You idiot. That's Master Rashi, king of martial arts. He said, making the policeman back off. Master Rashi, what are you doing here with this criminal? Tien I a friend of mine. And we're on important business. Let him go, chief. I can assure you that he's not guilty. Rashi said, defending Tien. Stand down. The chief ordered, making his men do just that. Tien walked up to the man. The Dragon Ball. Why not just tear the place apart? Isn't that your style, Tien? But surprisingly, Tien got on his knees. I beg you, we desperately need that ball. I apologize for the wrong I've done you. If you want revenge, break an arm or two, but please the Dragon Ball. He begged, much to the man's and everyone's surprise. I've dreamed of revenge for as long as I can remember. He said before he sighed. I forgive you. Get up. He said, much to Tien's and everyone's surprise. You can have the ball, as soon as he wakes up. He said, pointing to his son's cradle, who was asleep with the Dragon Ball in his hands. Eventually, he woke up and they got the Dragon Ball. With Fasha and Kakarot. They were sparing after Fasha had gotten rid of Yajirobe. They had been sparing for hours and had just eaten a senza bean when they saw Tambourine flying towards them. Lu, the one named Tambourine, is coming. Good, that means he'll be a suitable test for your Kamehameha wave. Fasha said as Tambourine landed. So you two are the scions I've heard about? A woman and child? Quite pathetic, don't you think? Tambourine said. You're a fool to underestimate the power of the scion race, demon. Kakarot said as he stood in front of the demon. That's right. Never underestimate the power of the strongest race in the universe. Fasha said with a smirk. With Master Rashi, Tien, and Kaiotsu. They had just found the third Dragon Ball and were heading to the fourth one. Master Rashi was thinking about Kakarot and Fasha, and Krillin the whole time, worried about his soft friends and his pupil. Master, I found the fourth Dragon Ball. Kaiotsu said, showing him the raider. With any luck, that's the monster that killed Krillin. And I'll bet it's where Kakarot and Fasha are now. Tien said. Their next destination brought them to a cave filled with crows. The blackbirds had brought the Dragon Ball to their cave because, as everyone knows, crows are attracted to SH objects. Considering how shiny the Dragon Balls were, it was the perfect thing for crows to have. Thanks to Kaiotsu, they managed to get the Dragon Ball and fly to the fifth on. King Piccolo doesn't seem to be in a hurry to expand his collection. I wonder what he's up to. Rashi asked. Maybe he doesn't need them. Kaiotsu said. He's probably occupied with exterminating martial artists. Rashi said. The raiders flashing. It's another Dragon Ball. Kaya Atsu said as he looked at the raider. With only 4 Dragon Balls, it's possible that this is the one King Piccolo's minion took before he killed Krillin. Tien said. That means we'll have to face him head-on. It's going to happen sooner or later, which means we need to be on our guard. Rashi said. I'm sure that we can win. Kaya Atsu said. Unfortunately, the odds of us winning against King Piccolo aren't too good. The best thing we can do is sneak and get the Dragon Ball while he's not looking. Rashi said. Kakarot and Fasha said they'd kill Piccolo, Master. If they can, we'll just have to use the Dragon Balls to bring back Krillin before the year is up. Tien said. Yes, but we haven't heard from them. Who knows where they are now? Rashi said, knowing that they couldn't track them. What about the evil containment wave, Master? Tien asked. How could you say such a thing, Tien? Rashi asked. Well, if Fasha and Kakarot can't kill Piccolo, then that's our only option. It's what Master Mutato used to seal Piccolo the first time, wasn't it? In exchange for his life. But even if we could use it, there's no way it would work. If Kakarot and Fasha fail, it'll be up to us. But if we failed, Yamcha would be the only one left in no condition to fight. Rashi said. I understand. He said. For Master to hesitate using the evil containment wave, there must be more to it than what he told us. Tien thought as he flew in the direction of the Dragon Ball. Back with Kakarot and Fasha. You picked the wrong friend of the wrong scions to kill, demon, and I'm going to make you pay with your life. Kakarot said. Tambourine chuckled. You talk tough, Scion. Let's see if you can back it up. He said. Kakarot started running at the demon with unnatural speed, circling around him until he yelled him in the face. Kakarot then dealt multiple punches to Tambourine before he kicked him into the air and prepared his ultimate technique. Kamehameha. He yelled as he waved at Tambourine, obliterating him completely. On Pilaf's airship. King Piccolo felt the death of Tambourine and was holding his head, to the buffoons and Piano's confusion. Sire, what's wrong? Piano asked. He's gone. Tambourine is dead. What's going on out there? This shouldn't be happening. King Piccolo growled. It must be those scions. Who else could kill these people? Pilaf said, knowing that it must be them. I knew they were strong, but not this strong. Mai said. Listen, take this aircraft to wherever Tambourine and Symbol were killed. I'll destroy these scions myself. The old demon said, determined to kill the ones who have been foiling plans. Pilaf looked at the Earth sensor and saw that 4 Dragon Balls were in the same place and moving towards a 5th one. Lord Piccolo, 4 Dragon Balls are in the same position. So, do you think we have competition? Piccolo asked. Yes. They have 4 Dragon Balls and they're moving to a 5th. Pilaf said with fear. Let them get the rest of the Dragon Balls. They can't use the power without all 7. Then once they have the remaining 6, we'll take them in one swoop. In the meantime, we'll pay immediate attention to this Fasha and Kakarot. If they are the skilled warriors you said they are, they're the ones who will die next. Piccolo said with an evil smile. Later with Fasha and Kakarot. Fasha clapped. That was a brilliant Kamehameha wave, Kakarot. You're advancing quite well in your training. She said. Well, I have a great teacher. Kakarot said with a smile. He looked up and saw something. Look up there. Is that an aircraft? Fasha looked up. Yes it is, and it's not like any we've seen Bulma make. She said as the aircraft stopped above them. Unfortunately, it was Pilaf's airship and in it was King Pic eager for revenge.